Hi friends! Today is a first impressions of the Auric Holiday 2021. What is this called? The Smoke Reflect Holiday Bundle. I managed to pick up the limited edition box with the 2 holiday shades inside. But if it's your first time here, hi. I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I am a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. If you want to see what I'm up to in my virtual class schedule, well then please sign up for my newsletter down below. Look who's in the video. We got Deku. I will link the sweatshirt down below if you are also a My Hero Academia fan. And if you watch Anime Balls Deep, this is a little bit of a tangent, but in addition to beauty videos, I also love to watch anime manga commentary channels. Anime Balls Deep is one of my most favorite, and yes, the title of the channel is you'll have a blast if you're a fan like I am. But all that to say, they have their own merch line where they create like the Supreme inspired protagonist hoodies, t-shirts, and tanks. I ordered like 4 of them. A little bit much? Absolutely. But today it is all about the makeup, and I just wanted to do a first impressions video trying on the new Smoke Reflect shades for holiday. At this time of filming, unfortunately, the special limited edition bundle gift box is out of stock, but the individual shades, both Disrupt and Entice, are still in stock. These retail for $39 each, and the bundle box retailed for $78. So you didn't miss out on any savings if you missed the bundle limited edition set. You only just missed out on the actual gift box, which is quite pretty. A strong cardboard. It doesn't have a magnetic tab, which probably made it easier to recycle. It has a lighter cardboard tab that inserts here, and I think it's beautiful. It has like that marble design, the Auric gold logo at the top. You have a nice pastel palette here in terms of the color choices with the box, and inside you have a beige lining with the 2 Smoke Reflect shades in with their own box. So I'm going to keep this because once you take the Smoke Reflex out, you are left with just the box, which could be used for several things. So I will definitely repurpose this. I like that how Samantha Ravindal, owner of Auric Cosmetics, made it so you can repurpose this. She mentioned that in her video, and of course you can recycle this insert that holds the Smoke Reflect boxes, and the boxes have that same beautiful pastel design. Might I keep the boxes? Probably. This is a limited edition holiday release. You know, I'm a pack rat. I am. So when they're pretty, I just store them like this. They do take up more room, but it's okay. I'll get rid of some stuff to keep the boxes in my drawer. In addition to the price being $39, we're looking at a suggested shelf life of 12 months, and these products are made in the US of A. We also have limited edition packaging for the actual Smoke Reflect component. Here we have the white with the gold lettering, whereas the original packaging is a matte black finish with the gold lettering. I'm sure when you saw the Auric, or you might not have, I was reminded of the Tom Ford holiday limited edition packaging. The Auric one is smaller, and I know not exactly the same. I mean, if we wanted to split hairs here, the Auric bottom is a frosted glass and the Tom Ford pot is plastic. So dare I say the Auric one feels a lot more luxe, and because Samantha is a much smaller company than Tom Ford, the higher price definitely reflects more Smoke reflects more the packaging choice for these components as opposed to using plastic, which I would assume would be cheaper, in addition to it costing more to ship these because these weigh more. So those are my observations in terms of the packaging compared to packaging that we have seen already in the market. Auric had initially released 3 shades in the Smoke Reflect line, and now we have 2 new ones for the holidays. Here we go. We have both Entice and Disrupt. Entice is the olive, which I am just dying to check out, and Disrupt is just this beautiful cranberry shade that definitely leans more plum. And I'm happy Samantha went that route, because although this is for a holiday, having it more plum, I do think it makes it multi-seasonal versus it being like a literal red. It comes with a twist off top, and you have the protective plastic lining, and here is the shade for Disrupt. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I'm sure you could detect a little bit of that plum in there. I can't wait to swatch it. And on top, you have the actual Reflect shade that looks to be like a pink shift in there. And for Entice, same packaging setup. Now that we have the olive, and Samantha made the point that she wanted this olive to be more neutral in tone overall in terms of the undertone versus like an olive green, which she had mentioned not a great fan of color wise, but there was overwhelming feedback in requesting an olive shade to be done in the Smoke Reflect formula. So, and for the Reflect powder, you have like a pearlized powder here. So let's get into these swatches. We'll start with Disrupt, which is this beautiful cranberry shade, but again, it leans more plum, which I am so thrilled to see. I think that's going to look beautiful on multiple skin tones. And here's the duochrome pink gold powder on its own. So you can see it has like a very like a scatter effect that's not meant to be a standalone shade. You could put this on top of whatever shadow you like. It doesn't necessarily have to be this formula, but when placed on top of the cream shade, you just get a little more shine and dazzle, more reflectivity. It definitely helps to bring out more of that pink base from the topper shade. And here we have Entice, the olive colored cream. Beautifully done. Even though it is olive, you can detect that, but I feel it's like a grounded earthy olive. Love that undertone. The white gold pearl shade on its own, it has like a nice gold flip to it. Beautiful solo, but as you can see, when applied on top of the cream, you'll then have that gold reflect on the olive. If you wanted to create more shine, again, you can use these creams by themselves. And to make a quick note on the actual formula, it's almost like a moussey type of texture that's very easy to blend. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and I think one of the more user-friendly cream-like formulas available now for those who want to dive into these types of textures, but they feel intimidated. While I understand that, I think these are very easy to work with. So now that we went over the product details and checked out the swatches, I think it's time for you to come in a little closer. Now this is going to be fairly quick. I'll apply Entice on one eye and Disrupt on the other. I wanted to show the brushes I decided to use for this demo, presenting two. We have the Esum W23 Sable brush and the Tonsedo YKQ12 Kolinsky brush. Now Kolinsky is very soft but durable at the same time. It can be used with creams, liquids, and or powders. Sable hair is also very doable. There's a little more flexibility in the Kolinsky hair, and this brush in particular is very expensive. It runs for like $80 because Kolinsky is a premium natural hair, while Sable is inexpensive, but I think a great alternative to Kolinsky if you're taking a look at or figuring out which brush to get if you don't have either of these. Typically, I would recommend, if you were to use a natural hair brush, that you would rely on Sable, Kolinsky, undyed goat hair, as those hairs are suitable for cream products. Otherwise, you'll just use synthetic, which will be your best bet if you don't want to ruin your natural hair bristles, if you have natural brushes, and they'll be easier to clean as well. I gotta start off with Disrupt. So let me use my Kolinsky brush here. I'll take a little bit, and I like to place some on the back of my hand, but I like to do this first so you can see that you can shear this out quite a bit, right? So if you didn't want this intensity, you can make it so that the shade, you'll get some of that cranberry, but it's not as intense as if you were to layer on the color on the lid. I don't have any primer on, and I'm taking this shade on the lid using a pull down method, and already I am in love. You can see it doesn't take on like that strong cranberry look that probably looks so in the photos, because I think they wanted to emphasize the color with the lighting and the dress the model was wearing. Yeah, but I don't think that's an intimidating color at all. Very much can be worn on its own if you like, or you want to pair it with a more neutral color and just place this on the lid. Taking my Units 307 crease brush just to feather the edges of the cream shadow. And that's how it's looking. Now, if you want more, then take your finger and apply more on the center of your lid. And I think you'll be able to get a little more color, because remember, these are very easy to blend. So the consequence of that is eventually it will start to sheer out a little bit. And if you don't want that sheer look, then you will have to go back with a packer brush or just your finger and tap more color here on the lid. Taking that same color under the lash line. And now with my finger, swirling in the Reflect powder and tapping that on the center of the lid. And look how that brings the color to life. It will bring forward more pink for sure, especially if you laid on more of the smoke cream shade. And if you like, you could take a smaller brush without applying cream and just place the Reflect color on the inner part of the eye to create a little more highlight here. And I'm placing it now on the inner part of my lower lash line, pulling it through. Now let's quickly go into Entice because my battery is running low. Make sure you put the plastic layer back on just so you can make sure the product doesn't dry out over time. And now with the olive shade, placing that on the lid in the same fashion. In a pull down method first to get it on the lid. Taking a little bit more with my Units brush, but pulling it through the crease now to create that smoked haze effect. And you will notice that it shears out quite a bit. So you see my lid color peeking through there. I think that's the nature of the shade. If it's easy to blend, then it's not going to leave a lot of color behind when you start blending. However, it's very easy to layer, which I appreciate. I think that offers a wider possibility of application techniques, of different levels of makeup application, where someone who is not super comfortable with blending a lot is not going to take much to blend this particular texture. And again, as I mentioned, if you want to take more, I'm placing some on the back of my hand here. I'll take my Esom brush and then tap more on the part of the lid that I want to appear more intense with that olive color. And you can go back and forth between however many brushes you decide to use if you want more of that blur there. And again, you could just take your finger and tap on more of the olive shade. Now with the white gold pearl, let's tap that right on the center, and ooh, I know it's tough to see on camera, but this has a lovely gold reflect to it that definitely brings the olive to life. You don't necessarily have to use the reflect shade. You can keep it all exclusively olive. Maybe just apply the reflect shade on the inner part of the eye, bring it a little lower here just to wrap it around. You could also bring it higher towards the crease because it's a very light texture, and again, it has that scatter effect that's not prominent in terms of color, so don't fear like you have to keep it on your lid or else it's gonna look funny. No, I think it's quite nice as it climbs up, if you will, from lid to crease. Just a little more here. All right, let's apply some mascara. Maybe some lipstick and some blush because I forgot to apply that when I turned on the camera. And I'll be right back. And here's a finished look using both the new Holiday Reflect Pots, Entice, and Disrupt. Just some quick observations, fam. Because I went in without a primer, I actually have oily lids, but I wanted to see how these textures would work on oily lids. The great thing is, the more emollient, the better it is to blend. But you do lose coloring, you do lose that opacity. So if you have oily lids, I would try to prep them first and then go in with the Smoke Reflect after. it still will be very easy to blend because the cream itself is very smooth and silky on the skin. I mean, it's going to be slidey glidey if you go on your oily lids, and if you don't mind that and just build the color on the lids after you blended everything through your crease and lower lash line, that's totally fine for you to do. The reflex shades are beautiful when layered on top of the cream ones, and although this is a holiday release, I think these shades are thoughtful in that, yes, they do speak holiday given the context, but I think they'll be also beautiful year round, especially for the fall. These are shades that I typically love: cranberry, plum leaning, olive, smoky, earthy. So I think Samantha did a fantastic job, it being a very small curated release for her brand. Again, very thoughtful in terms of the packaging, the approach, and the shades provided. Let me know if you picked up the Smoke Reflect Holiday Bundle, if you picked 1 or 2 shades, what you think of them. I will see you down in the comments, and until then, fam, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, Smoke Reflect Auric Extravaganza, monthly favorites, or an eyeshadow tutorial. Take care, and I will see you again soon.